Right now.
Right now.
Right.
Welcome to the Right Now Writers Group. I'm here with everyone's favorite chat soul, and today, as always, is our weekly writers group. Welcome. This is our Wednesday group. Today is meeting. Oh my God, I should have been prepared with that. I think meeting 57. I think this is our 57th Right Now Writers Group meeting, where we meet every Wednesday, 4 Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and we just hang out with other writers in the community. We see what's on our mind, and we talk all things writing. Make sure to stick around. We're going to get some writing sprints in today as well. We got to stay focused. I know I'm trying to push through a Scarecrow. I'm almost at the end of this one chapter, and we're going to see what's up. So that's what we'll be doing. Feel free to drop a comment if you have a question or some type of writing thing that's on your mind. Y'all know me. I'm Kaufman, daily writing streamer, fantasy nerd, and I have this belief that if you are stuck on a problem, all you have to do is put a dragon on it. All right, my friends, as always, glad to have all y'all here. I'll let Soul do your intro.
So everyone knows me as Chat Soul. I'm the person who writes a lot. I actually just finished the fan fiction I've been working on for, I kid you not, 2 weeks. It ended up with almost 45,000 words. But so tonight I'm actually not really like writing. I'm just doing some editing before I actually post the final story, because the entire thing is like 4 stories. I started those not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before that, and I just finished the 4th story. So
that is so exciting. So I'm so happy to hear that. It sounds like we've both been making good progress. I'm not making as much as I want, but I am making good progress whenever I'm working. And by the way, welcome back, Just JW. Always good to have you back in the stream, my friend. Lynn, welcome. ML, great to see y'all. I would love to hear, how is the writing vibe treating you this week? We're at the end of July, which means we're about to hit into August, and fall is right around the corner. Have you been able to make that much progress with your writing this summer? Maybe yes, maybe no. But now's kind of the time to start thinking about, like, okay, what's the routine going to look like as we start thinking with the fall? And Courtney, welcome back, my friend. Always good to have you here. Hope everything has been well with you. Welcome. Soul, Soul, you've been very you've been making some incredible progress this summer.
oh yeah.
So I'd love to hear that for a second. So I know you originally started off as a piece of flash fiction for Faded Fantasy.
Yep.
And then, just so everyone knows, right, our Faded Fantasy competition, which was extremely fun. It was such a great experience. We the original submission was for a 2,000 piece of flash fiction in the fantasy or romance genres. There's definitely a lot of key learnings on our part, but it was a great experience. I know one of the stories that came out of it, Soul, was your story, bound by a song.
It was the story for the competition was actually Echoes of Silence.
Echoes of Silence. I'm like,
but it did actually end up becoming
it
a
evolved
novel.
into this.
Yeah, it became the Bound by Song novel, which I
Mhm.
just have to create the cover for it and go through and start doing editing.
Mhm.
But that is pretty much done. I think there may be like
Nice.
2 lines left to write, but
So 2,000 word story, and it's now you've just finished this draft at, you said what, 40,000 words?
well,
50?
actually, the draft for Bound by Song I think ended closer to 57,000 for Bound by Song. What I was doing earlier today that I finished just before we started, that was the fan fiction. That was almost 45,000.
You're making some great progress. So how do you stay consistent with your writing? Are you just like in the vibe? Have you just been in the vibe like the past like month and a half?
Well, yes and no. Basically, so I actually use AutoCrit to write. I don't use. I mean, I know I should probably save my place multiple places, but I use AutoCrit to write. I just love the program. I don't have the pay version yet because
So please have a backup. Please have your stuff.
No, I plan on it.
Please have your back like tonight.
Yeah,
I have
no,
learned
I'm
this
thinking
the
about
hard way too many times. Anybody who's coming into the stream, if you have your writing saved on one space, you're in the wrong. And go save it somewhere else right now. I want you to pause this video and go save your writing. Because as somebody who has lost work it is the most like traumatizing thing as a writer to have invested all this time, whether it was days, weeks, months, years, and then for you to lose that, So everybody, please, 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 for the love of your characters, save your writing in more than one place. Doesn't matter what those places are, whatever
Oh yeah.
works for you.
No, I
So
plan on
that's like,
putting. I
I have to
plan
say
on
that. Like,
taking everything and putting it into a jump drive.
uh-huh.
Because I've got a lot that I do need to save, but I
Mhm.
try to at least keep all the main works that I'm doing in like one place right now.
Mhm.
But let me look at it because, like I said, I use AutoCrit. AutoCrit has this fun feature where you can track how much you write a day, and luckily they made that free. I have done 5,000 words a day for the past, I think, week and a half. And I have been writing consistently 1,000 words a day for 126 and successfully writing for 127 days.
Ah, dang. So that's amazing. You said 100 and something days? 127?
127 days I have been consistently writing, and 126 of those I have at least gotten 1,000 a day. And that
Mhm.
alone has really helped me. Is I'm not really a goal type of person. I'm not
Mhm.
the kind of person where, oh, I have to write 1,000 words by this certain time. I have to
Mhm.
finish my novel by this specific month. I should probably do that, but I don't really work well with deadlines.
Mhm.
So I just put myself under write every day. Doesn't matter if it's gibberish, doesn't matter if it's one of my stories,
Mhm.
but I make sure that I write every day, even if it's like I'm doing this at like 11 at night. I
Mhm.
can easily, if I really put my mind to it, hammer out 1,000 words in like 15 minutes. And I've
That's really
actually
good.
forced myself to do that a few times. And I think about 30 days in,
Mhm.
I stopped thinking about it so much. I wasn't thinking, oh, I have to get 1,000 a day. I
Mhm.
was just thinking, I have to get work on this today. I have to go and I have to work on Shifting Flame. I have to go and work on Bound by Song. I have to go and work on this fan fiction that people have been wanting me to finish. I stopped focusing on the word, on like the amount of
Mhm.
words, and I focused on the words themselves.
Mhm.
And I still stuck with 1,000 because it became a habit.
Interesting. Well, it sounds like you've been very successful at that. I know in like the past where like you used to struggle with writing for many, many years.
It took me
And now you've
19
been like,
years to get my first book. Took me
Mhm.
17
Yeah.
years to get shamed into writing it.
And so I think this is a great conversation to have. What are like strategies that work for us to get us to just write more consistently? I would love to hear if you're here in the chat. By the way, Mama Maggie, welcome. Saw you hop in. Nil, welcome, welcome, welcome. I know we can all relate with losing work, which sucks, which totally sucks. But what strategies have worked for you out there to be able to write more consistently? You guys all know for me, I talk about this all the time. For me, streaming has been such a save for me. I started the live streaming to be able to challenge myself to write every day for a year. And now it's helped me stay consistent. And I started it because I'm like, okay, well, if I'm doing a live stream and I'm putting my writing on camera, then I can't like I feel like I have to show up. It's like a motivator for me personally. And it's worked out extremely well. It's worked out extremely well. And then I mean it's not for everyone. I know
Oh
so many
yeah.
people who are like worried that like, oh, put your writing on there, it's gonna be stolen. Um, but I guess my challenge to that is then I'm like, okay, well, I feel like I have like over 400 streams that prove that what I'm writing is actually mine. I was like, I don't know. I guess somebody could steal it. I mean, maybe I'll become like AI scarecrow at some point.
I can see
Uh,
that. But I've seen
okay.
some people do what you do. I've seen some
Mhm.
people do what I do with, try to get a certain amount of words a day, becomes a
Mhm.
habit, keep writing every day, becomes a habit.
Mhm.
I think I saw one person like it was like I think their thing that helped them was they had like a doc they were disabled, so they were
Mhm.
going in and out of doctor's appointments.
Mhm.
And I think they actually wrote on the way to the doctor's office and then on the way back every
Mhm.
week. I mean, hey, if that's what it takes to work, then it
Really, on the
works.
way to the doctor's office.
On the way there and on the way back.
That's
And I've
interesting.
got a few friends through I've got a few people I know through Discord that
Mhm.
they will like one person, I guess they were traveling in or out of the country somewhere, and they actually took their laptop, had it on offline mode,
Mm-hmm.
and they just wrote while they were on the plane.
Mm. It's not bad. I think actually when I was traveling last, what I think back in May, I was definitely riding on the plane. Oh man. That's cool though. And I think it can be a little obviously different for everyone, but I think figuring out what strategies just help us to be just more consistent and to just write, right? 'Cause, I mean, if we don't write, then the books never get finished. If we never finish the book, we never tell our stories. I know. Let's see, Mom Mag, you said I saved my writing in 4 places because my laptop died and my backup terabyte drive had been corrupted, and you lost 3 months worth of work. My worst one is I think I lost like 5 months worth of work one time, and I had saved it in multiple places too. The computer crashed, so I lost the computer, and then the drive where I had saved it was corrupted, and it wouldn't let me access it. It was like
I
the
hear
worst.
that.
It was like the worst thing ever, and I was like, I feel like I was being punished, and then I stopped writing for 2 months.
Oh man.
I was so frustrated at the time.
I know when my kid
Um,
was born, I had a laptop
mhm,
that's where I had one of my original versions of Pirates.
mhm,
I do not ask me what I did. I messed with the BIOS somehow, and there was a password. I didn't know what it was.
mhm.
That was 2 years of work.
Two
That
years
was
of work.
2 years of work on Pirates before it became a trilogy,
Oof.
as well as I think 3 other story ideas I had at the time. Oh my god.
Uh, it's the worst. But I think that's all the more reason why we need to establish healthy writing routines that work
Oh
for
yeah.
us. I think it's different for everyone, right? For me, healthy is writing every single day. But for somebody else, that could be the wrong thing and that could lead them to being burnt out. And I think
Mhm.
it depends on your lifestyle, right? If you work a 40-hour a week job, if you're a student, if you have a family, if you have responsibilities, right? How do you balance writing time with your other responsibilities in a way that's healthy and beneficial for you? And
Yep.
then also keeping in mind that writing, even though we're just sitting down and putting words into a system or writing it into something, writing takes energy. And I think sometimes writers don't always take into account how much energy writing takes.
And it's always hard to
Um,
tell how much energy too, because
exactly.
one person might take like absolutely no energy at all to write, I don't know, a poem.
Mm-hmm.
But then somebody else, it's going to take 3 times that
Mm-hmm. And
because they
because I
because
think about it, right? I think about like when you're writing it and then you're going to have to be rereading it. You're going to be having to think creatively of revising it. And if you're writing like a book or a series, you have to be using complex thinking on putting the characters and the storylines and the plots and the worlds. And if you've been working on it for a long time, then you're going to have to reference things that you wrote a year ago. Or there's just so many moving parts to it.
oh yeah.
And all of that takes energy that I think sometimes writers don't take, or that writers will almost take for granted at times
Yeah.
when they're
They
early
they
on in the process.
underestimate it.
Yeah, exactly. Underestimate is a great way. Let's see, Lynn. You said you try to write at least 5 days a week. This way, it gives you some flex when the day job is a nightmare. Yeah, and I think that's you, Lynn. You bring up another really good point, actually. I think sometimes we intend to write consistently, but then life gets in the way. Everyone, life is always going to get in the way, right? You're
Oh
always
yeah.
going to have unforeseen um, BS or things that pop up, whether that's work, whether that's family, whether that's life, mental health. Like that's just the nature of life, right? So I think it's recognizing that things are going to pop up, recognizing that the more consistent your routine is, even when you interrupt the routine, you still feel or that you're going to be able to resume the routine even if
Hmm.
there's a gap.
Oh yeah. That's kind of how I actually continued with it. Is I think like 35, 40 days in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was still writing, but I actually got to the point where I didn't start writing until like 8, 9 o'clock at night. I tend to go to bed around 10. So
Wow.
I actually I made myself sit down and continue it. And eventually I got back to right in the morning. It got interrupted because I had my kid, I had chores, I had things going on. I couldn't sit down and write during the day, or I couldn't make myself somehow. But I still made myself stick with it somehow, and it eventually corrected itself.
But did it correct itself just from like over time? Like you were just in a better spot to be able to write?
I think it was a little bit of that, and then what I also started writing. To me, it's more of I think my writing vibe actually kind of goes based off what I'm actually working on, what I'm feeling the vibe for.
Okay.
And if I'm more
Which
enthusiastic
tells
about
me
what
that
I'm doing, it helps.
I mean that tells me that your writing routine is partially influenced and inspired by your emotional energy, the way that you're feeling about the story. So if you're feeling more inspired, more motivated about something, you feel like you're going to be doing it more consistently.
Oh yeah, I just looked at it. 10 days of 5,000 words a day, and I have 4 stories finished. One of them, which is 28 chapters. Yeah, no, it's definitely emotion based.
Cordy, like I want to develop a healthier way and set a schedule rather than from wake up to sleep.
I hear that.
I've been in that routine as well. And I think whether setting up the routine is like using us as the Right Now community, right? Or whether setting up times that work for your own schedule. Yeah, and I mean, there's so many tricks people will try to like get themselves. If the problem is like, hey, I set the routine and then I don't follow through, I think that's a different problem than just setting a routine. And I
Right.
think it's definitely a step-by-step process. Something that we're actually doing with as a community for the month of August. We're actually anybody who's on the newsletter, you probably saw this. But we're involved with another AuthorTube event throughout the month of August, which is being put together and hosted by Mama Maggie. And essentially a bunch of the author tubers, a bunch of us are getting together and we're just doing daily streams. You guys know me, I'm already doing daily streams, but everyone in the community is going to be doing daily streams for this event, which is called the 80K, 48K, 18K challenge. And essentially it's just challenging writers to be able to write more consistently. I'll throw this up real fast so y'all can see it because I actually find this really interesting. Anything that can help us write more, I think, is always a huge win. All right. So for this one right here, let's see. Essentially, it is being put together. Let me open up here. That looks better. So essentially, it's a challenge that we're involved in August. Let's see why the 80K 18K challenge was a challenge by a friend of Mama Maggie's where she wrote 18,000 words or edited 80,000 each August to get themselves back into the writing routine. Ward decided to write the 80K in 2019 instead of editing. She learned that it wasn't about the count, it was about the routine. And then after her friend passed from COVID, she kept doing it alone and reinforced the habit. Since then, this like August routine has been really consistent and helping people get back in the writing habit in a post-summer schedule. Essentially the goal is it's not like if you try, you aim for the word count and you miss it. Like it's more about just getting into a routine. And essentially for the month of August, it's broken down into how many words that you would need to do per day, depending on how many days a week you want to write. So it's super cool. I'll probably be talking about it more consistently. We'll be hosting it on our Sunday streams. So you're of course welcome to join if you want to join us on the Sunday streams. But we're going to be having other author tubers in the community joining us
Awesome.
on Sundays, and then every day one of the other author tubers is hosting on one of their channels. So it's going to be super cool. So I feel pretty confident you'll be able to hit 80K if you want to participate.
Oh yeah, no, I'm already planning for that.
But I think what I like about this is this kind of gives you, there's like a daily writing goal, there's a 5-day a week goal, and then there's a 2-day a week goal, and saying how many words you have to write per day to be able to achieve it. If you're writing daily, then you have to hit about 2,500 words a day on average to be able to hit the goal, which for you, Soul, that's like
nothing.
That's like 10 minutes. You're like, all right, 10 minutes, 2,500.
No, I should be able to do that pretty easily. I mean, with how consistent I've been lately, yeah, I don't really see much of a problem, and it'll be a nice challenge to make sure that I can actually stay consistent.
So is your challenge going to be try to see if you can do it the fastest? Like, all right,
No,
guys, we're
I'm
just
not
getting
gonna.
started.
I'm not gonna race anyone.
Kaufman's at 500 words, and it's day 5, and so it's like, all right, guys, I'm almost at 100K. Where are you at?
I don't think I'm gonna go that fast.
Like, okay, day 7.
Okay, maybe not quite that fast. We're probably getting closer.
Lynn, you had a good comment. Yeah, trying to get another healthy habit is also good for people like you with ADHD. Yep. Completely agree. You tie it to walking on a treadmill on your standing desk. So if you want to do that activity, you need to do the writing. That's healthy. I really want to get one of those. I really want a standing desk first off. My brother has a standing desk, and I've always seen it. I'm like, that's stupid. Why would I want to stand while I'm working? But now after working from home consistently for the past year and a half, and when you're sitting all the time, I'm like, yeah, no, it makes sense. I feel like I need to be standing. I think a standing treadmill is really interesting, though. I asked myself if I'd be able to write consistently with a treadmill like that.
It's probably one of those things you kind of got to figure out your own rhythm for it.
Courtney, Chad Soul needs a tier 4.
Oh my god.
All right, so we're gonna create a tier 4 for you. This is the challenge is called, what was that? The 80K, 48K, 18K. Do we need to make like the 120K for you?
Hey, I mean, hey, if people are interested, I'll gladly do it.
I love that. Courtney, you said you just got a standing desk with this move and you love it. I'm jealous. I really do want a standing desk. There's like so many things that there's like things that I want, but I'm like, I can want all the things, but I need the resources to buy the things first. So.
Right.
Okay. But on that note, let's write. So let's hop into our first writing sprint. We're going to do a couple today because we need to get some progress with our writing. I am almost at the end of this beat of the crazy scarecrow chapter. So like, I really need to, yeah, I really need to get through this. So let's do it. I think let's start off with 30 minutes. Oh, and by the way, I made some new playlists. So I know some of my playlists end up sounding the same. We'll see how this sounds. I try to put in different like requests, but we'll see if these ones sound different. I was trying to match it to the vibe of what I'm doing with the Coliseum right now, this Coliseum chapter. Yeah, so let's do it. We're going to start with 30 minutes. Super easy. Get ourselves into the writing vibe, and then we'll come back and we'll chat and we'll see how we're doing. So I am all ready. Whether you are writing, revising, editing, brainstorming, planning, procrastinating, or doing something else, come join us because it's time to write now. right. And that is the writing sprint. How did that treat you? Oh my goodness. So were you able to make much progress that time?
Yeah, I found a few mistakes through my editing, so
Oh man. Let's see. I was like, I feel like I actually made some decent progress that time. Let's see. All right. Yeah, so I feel like I was actually able to make decent progress. How did that treat you? Were you able to make any progress on your end? Let's see. All right, there we go. So I feel like I pushed myself into that writing sprint and I did I this beat is like pretty intense and it's the end of the chapter and I can't actually believe that I'm at this beat. I can't believe that I'm here. This has been just like such like a crazy chapter. Oh man. So I'm telling you, there's like so much fighting, so much pacing, so much POV swaps, so much different styles, so many animals, so many, just so much.
it sounds it.
But intentionally so, right? It's all been very much intentional, but it's just crazy. I want the reader to feel very rewarded when they read it.
I imagine they will with how much work you've been putting into this.
Hmm. It's funny because after I got through the first draft, I knew after I finished the midpoint, I was like, I know. Well, the midpoint itself, I'm not even at the midpoint chapter, which is fun. But I knew when I would go back to this, I'm like, this chapter is going to be so much, or this story arc is going to be so much work because I have so much character development I have to do for all like for all the minor characters. Um, awesome, Lynn. You got about 400 words, and let's see. All right, and give me just a second. I think. Let's see. Bear with me just one moment. By the way, if how did that writing sprint treat you? Were you guys able to get some progress that time? Let's see. And let's see, just one second. And let's go here. So I see we were joined. Welcome, welcome, my friend. All right, Chris, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us today, man.
I was off work and I finished my writing ish, and I at least got what I needed filmed in the can. And I was like, oh, I
Mhm.
can come for a hot minute.
Oh, nice. Has work been crazy for you?
Yeah, it's just customer service is really hard.
Yes, yes, it is. Having worked quite my share of customer service in my life, we all know it has its highs and lows depending on the day.
I've been doing a lot of internal healing at the same time. I'm
Hmm.
learning to myself. Keep telling myself I am not performing heart surgery, so things will get done when they get done.
Hmm.
Just I'm just trying to not be. My back is killing me, so I'm trying to figure out whatever
Hmm.
the crap's going on there. But I'm 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 doing a lot better mentally now than I was when I
Hmm.
left.
Well, that's good. Have you had oh, and I guess actually, Chris, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know you, what type of writer are you? What
Okay,
do
so
you do?
hi, I'm Chris. I kind of disappeared about 6 months ago. I am a teen YA writer. I do like LGBTQ short stories. I come from the TV world, so I write more short stories with a more of a TV feel. And I also use tarot cards to help writers get out of writer's block. And so that's why I have like all these tarot decks behind me. I guess since I'm on like a pedestal now for a hot second, I am doing a writing challenge that I've starting to on August 1st. If anyone wants to follow me on my YouTube and my TikTok and my Instagram, there's going to be a writing challenge where I kind of guide you through write stories from your tarot cards without actually using your processes that you've been using. You're just going to be
Mhm.
accessing your intuition and just seeing what the cards tell you and going with that, and not dealing with whatever your own processes are. So if you want to follow me there, you're more than welcome to.
Well, Chris, it's always good to have you join us, my friend, and I'm glad that you're getting back into it. I think, like always, I think we all go through periods, right, where life gets crazy, and of course, unfortunately, right, as much as we like writing and doing the creative stuff, the bills still have to be paid. So,
Bills still have
right,
to
trying
be
to find
paid.
a balance.
Money is still very tight, but again, like I
Mhm.
said, mentally I'm doing a lot better than I was when I couldn't come to these more often. And so Tuesdays and Wednesdays seems to be my days off, but still mentally preparing to try to. Whenever I have a day off, I want to just like chill at home.
Yeah, I totally understand that. You had literally just caught us right at the end of we just did a writing sprint. I know Lynn said you got about 400-ish words. ML working on some edits.
Hi,
Awesome.
ML. By the way, I saw that and I just wanted to. I was in the middle of my spiel, so yeah.
And then just JW, you're like, it's going well. Doing a little writing exercise with some friends where we switch every paragraph. Super fun. I totally recommend. I've done that before. And actually, that was one, and it actually just turns out I have both of you guys here. That was probably one of our most popular like writing exercises, games, I would say.
Is that the one with like the mermaid in space?
Yep. So,
We
and
did
I was like,
two of them.
we did the first one.
We did two.
We did two. Chris, were you involved in the December one as well? I forgot. Were you?
I thought I was.
So I feel like you were. I think you were, because I'm pretty sure the December one was like a goblin or something like that. I forgot
Yeah,
what
it was some kind of goblin, and then the other one was like weird.
It was like a unicorn. There's like a unicorn and a goblin, and like. So for anyone who doesn't know, we do we'll host writing conferences here on the channel sometimes. We did our first one, the Write-a-thon, back last July, and one of the games that we did was 6 of us, Sol and Chris included. Basically, we alternated paragraphs. We came up with like a prompt, and then we just alternated paragraphs telling a story. So it's like just JW. That's like the same thing that that you're doing with your friends. The stories came out really fun.
Do you have those still?
I do. So I have the story saved. Yeah, I could totally pull them out. I think I haven't touched upon them. I don't really know what to do with them, but I think they're funny AF.
They are
during
they are bonkers.
During the July one, we came out with our wizard, mermaid, space princess, Gandalfina. And then during the December one, we came out with a goblin. It was like a goblin, unicorn, like space adventure.
Something weird. Yeah, it was something weird. Someone killed someone by accident, or I don't know what it was. It was weird.
So it's definitely a fun exercise to do, definitely, for sure. I think I always ask myself when doing like writing exercises on like a stream, it's always hard for people to be like engaged if they're not themselves doing the writing as well. And from the ones we've done, I think that was one of our popular ones, and then Jeopardy is the other popular one.
What you could do, maybe next time, is still do like the round, like with whoever's involved. Have like have like people send in a sentence and just to pick one of the sentences.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. I asked myself,
don't pick on one person. Just say, everyone just do it now, and I'll just pick one, and I'll just pick one at random.
That's actually a really good idea as like a breather to let like the chat come up. That's really yes, let's do that, because I think what I have decided upon is that I'm going to make our writing conference, the Write-a-thon or whatever I call it, kind of like that yearly, the end of year thing. So I'll probably do it again in December.
But yeah, do it just like to even like get more engagement. Just be like, have people pick at the next sentence, and then or not people pick, but you say, here's 20 people online. You get 20 sentences. You just pick one of them and put it in, and then just continue going with the chatters.
You know, Chris, what's really interesting? So I know you said you're doing an August challenge for your tarot and writing. We're actually doing an August challenge as well. A bunch of the author tubers, the author tube community is doing called the 80K, 48K, and 18K. Basically, all the author tubers have like coordinated like streaming daily for the month of August. But the one we're going to be hosting here for right now, we'll be hosting it on the Sunday stream, and you're of course welcome to join as well. It'll just be Same vibe as Writers Group, just basically trying to get people to write. That's really what it is. Get people to write again.
If I am not working, and I will do the best I can.
Totally understandable, my friend. Understandable. So now that you're back into the vibe of writing, and as we're kind of thinking about it, like what does and so this question goes out to you as well. Anybody, if you're here in the chat, I'd love to hear. What's your writing goal for August? Like what's the next thing you guys want to work on? What's the push? What's the hope in a perfect world? What does it look like?
I'll let Sol go first.
I really need to get my butt working on Raging Inferno. Now that this fan fiction has only like one story left, and that's really just like one chapter, maybe two, I really need to get back into my official works. Because as much fun as this fan fiction has been, well, no, I do have a series to finish, and I do have a definitive date that I need to get it published on, so.
That's good. And that's, for anyone who doesn't know, that's book 3 of your trilogy, right?
Yep, the Pirates trilogy by Hollow, Burning Ember, Shifting Flame, those 2 are both already out. And then Raging Inferno should be coming out June 30th next year.
Okay.
That is so cool. And then don't you have the book cover is in the background behind you, isn't it?
Oh, yep. This is the one that just came out on this past June. This is book 2.
Oh. So anyone who wants to check it out, we're gonna go find it. You can drop the link in the chat if you want.
Yeah, let me get the link up, and I will definitely drop it.
Very cool. I mean, working on series, that's a huge win and a huge accomplishment to be able to tie off and finish off a series or a trilogy.
Oh, technically, that's actually not finishing it. There's 2 little novellas that go with it. They're kind of companion books. One of them takes place between books 2 and 3, and the other one is a series of short stories, 5 chapters each from each of the 3 main books. Each chapter is a different perspective from somebody in the book. I already have the first 5 chapters written. I have an idea of the next 5 or the second book, which perspectives those are going to be from. And they're really going to, they let you see kind of a behind the scenes for certain characters. They let you see moments where Kasai, since he's the point of view from the first book, you get to see him from another person's point of view. You get to see him, how others think of him, and well, I got to admit, I laughed myself at a couple of them, so because you want to smack the people.
Well, really, really, really awesome to hear. So I think that's incredible work. Chris, what about you?
Well, writing wise, I think that I'm a little overwhelmed with everything that I'm doing right now. Okay. So I am trying to. I know that it's still going to take a while to do it. I have like so many different ideas in my head that I've just been like putting down in like a folder, and I keep coming up with the new ones. But right now, I think my number one goal in life is to get rid of my day job. So the way how I'm doing that is just all the tarot stuff, just trying to get myself known a little bit more out there, so that I can have time to write at night and come here and do things and do whatever I need to. But with just my back hurting and all this stuff, just physical pain, I'm just kind of unable to kind of like be productive.
Yeah, and I mean, I totally understand that. I went back and forth with customer service for a while. And even over the summer, I've picked up extra work here and there because to be able to make enough outside of just normal expenses, like I'm also trying to save up so I can actually invest more in the business. And then the question I've always asked is like, okay, well, you could always go pick up a part-time job somewhere, brick and mortar, part-time job. Or I think easy options is doing things like ride sharing, TaskRabbit, those types of like free.
But are they easy though? Because are they oversaturated?
No, it depends on what you consider easy, I guess, right? I mean, if you're all right with a wear and tear on a vehicle and those expenses.
Well, what I also meant too is since it's probably oversaturated. So are you going to
get? It's absolutely oversaturated. But you
could
also argue that with a lot of things.
But yeah, are you going to get enough rides on a ride share in order to make what you need every single day? That's the question I was getting out of.
You don't know until you try.
Exactly. True.
Yeah, I think that's really what it comes down to. I think it's like testing things out because I mean, I think like I think we obviously have to be able to make our bills, as we all know, right? We all have to be able to earn revenue. But I think the challenge is balancing our mental health to be able to do all the creative stuff. And also
Yeah.
being a content creator is a lot of work, right? Trying to do all the things. Um, so trying to find like that balance while also being realistic with without we can't like do the customer service stuff, get money, and then kill our mental health in the process.
Yeah.
Right. I did that to myself and I was absolutely miserable.
With all that being said, though, I do have Duncan at Gay Teenage Witch #2 done, and also the cover
Ooh,
is done. So
nice.
I just need to get my butt together and just copyright it and put it out there. I just haven't had the chance to do it yet. So it was supposed to be
Nice.
happen. So, but it's done.
Nice. That is exciting. That is so exciting. I think let's see what am I focused on? I mean, obviously everyone knows my focus is always finish Scarecrow.
Do you have an end
I
date for that
think
yet?
what was that?
Do you have an end date for that yet for the Scarecrow?
I keep picking end dates, but I keep not having time to make as much progress. I'm making progress on it, but it's just been very slow because my schedule over the past like 2 months has just been like very fragmented. So the amount of time I spend on it just isn't as much. I also thought I would get through this draft faster. I think I thought I would get through the second draft in 6 months, and realizing that it's actually going to take about a year overall because there's been so much revising and rewriting. Draft 1 took 6 months, and I'm realizing draft 2 will take about a year. I'm just about at the 50% mark of the second draft, but I do feel confident the second half of the book will go a little faster. I know that for August, my goal is to get from 50%, which is where I'm almost at, to at least the 70% mark. And I think for me to do that, I'm going to increase my writing sprint velocity on weekends and how much time I'm spending writing on weekends.
Have you? Is this typical of your writing process, or have you noticed if it takes you longer to write the first one and then going back to edit for the second draft, is it shorter because you already have the words, or is it typical for you to write 6 months for the first draft and then longer for second draft?
It's been different for every book. I think for me, every project is a little different. I think with Scarecrow itself, there's a couple factors. I think one factor, writing it on a live stream, has gotten me into creating this in kind of a different format, different manner that I had done previously, which is great. I've gotten used to it now over the course of last year. But it has created kind of a different process for writing live, revising, and going through it. So that's one factor. Factor two, having built awareness about it over time and seeing the story as it's evolving, and then also being very involved in like streaming and writing streaming and doing stuff. I'm growing, my writing skill set is growing exponentially because I'm so in it at a much faster rate than I was growing as a writer before doing this part of my journey. So I think because of that, when I'm reaching these later parts of the book, I'm seeing such a gap in where the story was at and then where it needs to be now for me to at least achieve the telling the type of story that I want to tell. And I think I of course know it can't be perfect, right? I know, like we all know, we could keep rewriting our stuff forever. But I do want it to be at least at a certain level where when somebody picks up the book, have I want them to feel like, for an action adventure book, like someone like if you picked up Lord of the Rings or books to that nature, that you feel like you're experiencing different things happening while going on this emotional journey with the characters, and you feel engaged. There's a lot of foreshadowing. I've really played into the rereadability of it, so that way people can reread it multiple times and still pick up new things. And I've also created a world with characters that are very much larger than life, very much intentionally so.
All right.
So
You keep going, dude. You keep going.
and I'm excited. I think for August, and I think this is something that I am probably going to set a date for, and I need to think about logistically which date specifically, but I'm probably going to set the date for the cover reveal. And the website launched because I have an author website for the book, and then the cover design for the book was just finished. I know, it's so exciting. So all on the way.
Creativity at its best.
Mm-hmm. So, and I saw we definitely had some really, really great goals here in the chat. I know Lynn said your August goal was finish Ghost Book 6, about 25K away from finishing it, which is awesome. Lynn's consistency is awesome. The fact that you're that far into so many series is really, really incredible, my friend.
Oh yeah.
How long?
And then,
question for Lynn: how long do you
Mhm.
want this goal? You said Ghost Book 6. How long is your Ghost Book series?
That's a good question. Yeah, I'm not sure how long this series is. Lynn, that's a good question. How long is the series? I can't tell if book 6 is the last part of this series or if there's still more. And then JW, your goal is definitely working on some exposition and story building paragraphs. You're great with dialogue and using it for comedic bits. But the second I need to describe the giant troll, I'm a little on the opposite end. I'm not as good with comedy, but I'm great with the description stuff. I feel you there.
See, I'm different as well. I'm very good with dialogue, but description I'm not good with at all. Like it takes. I'm still in screenwriting brain.
Description's probably for me, even to a fault though, because then I end up over describing sometimes too, and I know that. Let's see. Lynn said, right now just planned for 6, but if I get inspired for more, then I'll write more. It's
All right.
interconnected romance standalones, so it all depends on when I get ideas.
Okay. All right.
Very, very cool. And then, by the way, Steph, welcome, friend. Hopefully the writing's treating you well today. And let's see, what else do we got? Courtney said, goal for August is to finish the first book in your motorcycle series. You're currently about halfway, so that seems reasonable. Awesome. For your next one. And then, let's see, just JW. Do you guys have live streams where you provide feedback to previous works of writing? Just JW, I'm glad you asked. Chris, I think, you do feedback streams as well, right?
No.
Do you do feedback stuff? No, yours is more just tarot pulling for helping writers with the process, right?
Yeah, just help them with the process. Yeah, I don't really give feedback.
So, just JW, one of our most popular streams that I do here on the channel is called the Story and Critique Show. So far, I think the next one is episode, 48. I think 48 is the next episode. But essentially, the Story and Critique Show is probably one of the most popular streams I do. Essentially, writers from the community, or any writer, can submit a story, and then I do a live reading and a live critique. I've done well over 200 plus stories now, and I accept all genres and all formats. It's all cold reading, so that way I can keep myself entertained, but it's usually pretty fun. Right now I'm doing it bi-weekly, so it's every other Saturday. And the next critique stream will be on Saturday, July 9th, so next weekend. We just had our last one this past weekend. Let's see, let me pull it up.
With all you guys saying you're gonna write, I should really write something in August.
Let's see, here we go, and I'll drop that link in the chat, just JW, if you want to submit. There's the critique submission form. Everything's linked down the YouTube description. So I would say go check out previous episodes. It's a pretty fun format. The Story and Critique Show, you can find all the stuff on the YouTube channel. It's a fun series. But I just dropped a link in the form if you want to submit. I highly submit. I always tell people submit earlier, as early as possible, because I always get a lot of submissions for it. Let's see. And then, yeah. Nice, Courtney. Yeah, Courtney was awesome. Courtney literally put together all of the Courtney made a document, the critique archive, which basically documents every single story, all 200 plus stories we've done through the critique stream, with which episode it's on, and then time coded which for the episode and then where it's at. So if you want to go follow different stories, you can just look at the archive. I think it's linked down the YouTube description, or it's linked in every critique show episode. But it's a great way if you want to go check out like previous episodes. Soul, I know I've done a bunch of your stories before. Chris, I don't know if I've done your work or not, but I've done a lot of excerpts from the community. So I think when I think about it, I wanted to offer something free for the community to help out writers, because writing a book is expensive, especially when you think about getting feedback or getting an editor. Editing is expensive. Doing the book cover, and I think there's obviously cheap ways to do everything, but then when writers end up investing, when they have the resources and they're ready, I try to offer free options, and I think that's the goal.
I've been giving away free writing prompts with my tarot cards just every single day. I just give free writing prompts with one
Yeah,
card.
and Chris's tarot is really helpful, by the way. Chris, I know, Chris, I've had him, we were on the podcast a couple of times, and Chris did a few tarot readings for me, like live for Scarecrow for these sections I was working on, and it was actually really helpful.
I like hearing that.
I think any way we can find ways to try to help with the inspiration or the creativity is always a win.
I think that tarot, just in general, what I've found a lot is that it's not going to come out and tell you right up front what you need or what you want or what the story wants. It's a roundabout way of looking at things and gives you a new avenue of looking at things, so that it gives you more of a direction to go in rather than just Google research this word, whatever. And that just opens up a floodgate of whatever, but it can give you a direct route, even if it's being secretive.
Agreed. Awesome. On that note, let's do another sprint. So let's get a little bit more writing in with our time. We probably have enough time for, it looks like, another 30-minute sprint. So let's do it. We'll hop back in. Let me pull up our sprints. Here we go. And yes. So let me pull this up. We're going to do another 30 minutes. I feel pretty confident we'll hopefully be able to make some progress this time and see just what we can accomplish. Here we go.
It's not even August and I'm going to write. Look at this, guys.
Woo! You know, that's what happens, Chris, when you come to Writers Group.
Exactly.
You got to write or else.
It's not even August and I can already make my goal.
All right. And all right, my friends. So let's do it. I'm all set up here. So we got 30 minutes on the clock. Whether you are brainstorming, writing, revising, editing, or maybe you're just coming to hang out, come join us because it's time to write now. All right. Wow. 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 Man, that was a really good writing sprint. That was definitely a really good writing sprint. I feel like we were able to make some pretty solid. I mean, I know I made some pretty solid progress that time. How did that writing sprint treat you? Whether you're here in the chat or you're watching on the replay, were you able to make any progress that time? Hopefully, you got some words in, maybe some good ideas, some vibes, whatever. Um, man, I felt pretty accomplished that time. So, Chris, how did it treat you guys?
Oh, sorry. I was like, you need to pat yourself on the back, dude. um, I got 500 words, but I was also trying to decide which story to write,
Mm-hmm.
and I just started writing. So I created my own version of Vampire Diaries is what I've been playing with, and I gave episode 1 and an outline of a Bible to two writer friends of mine just to kind of see what they would say. And they were like, you should probably write episode 2 to figure out if it's going to work or not. So I
Mm-hmm.
was actually just kind of brainstorming what episode 2, maybe leading into episode 3 would be. So that's what I was kind of doing.
So that sounds fun. You're sticking to screenwriting.
Oh, no. Well, it's going to still be book. It's just,
Oh, it's still gonna be okay. Okay.
I'm using screenwriting and TV terms in book
Mhm.
form. That's just it's how my brain works. And so episode 2 is story 2 or book 2 or whatever you want to call it.
I totally get it. When I was working on any type of screenplay, and then trying to translate or transition ideas into a book form, I feel like I was still always thinking about like screenwriting techniques.
Well, it's going to change again for me when I decide to
Mhm.
put all of them together into one. So
Mhm.
it'll be like a 13 stories into one book or 12
Mhm.
stories into one book. So instead of
Mhm.
chapter 1 of being chapter 1 book 1, it will now be chapters 1 through 4 will be chapter 1. So it'll be all our episode 1 episode, and then episode 2 will be all of it's just so it's going to all kind of be weird, but I'm thinking it more the way that I'm bringing this about is more of like DVD box sets and
Mhm.
just like where commercial breaks we're going to take and so all that kind of stuff. So I just need to find out how this is all going to work, but I'm using TV writing terms while I'm writing a book. That's essentially what I'm doing.
Very, very cool. So what about you? Did you make any progress?
Yeah, I got through, I think, like 4 or 5. I think I read through like 4 or 5 chapters, looking for things to edit, added a few
Mhm.
things in there, fixed one naming issue, and already starting to kind of do a draft of posting the chapters on AO3, so.
Nice. Always a good way to get feedback.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. I almost finished the end of this chapter. I'm like
Yay.
1 or 2 paragraphs. I'm like, all right, oh, finally, to the end. I feel like I've been on a journey with just this chapter alone. So much craziness.
You've been
Um,
you've been on a journey with this book since I've met you.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I have. I guess I have been on a journey with
That was like
Scarecrow and all
this
these
was
other
like
crazy animals and creatures.
that was like a year and a half ago.
Hmm. It just means that it's going to be that rewarding when it's published. It'll be that excellent.
Don't think it needs to be perfect. So you're just spinning your wheels, just making sure it's perfect before you release it.
Yes, I've already made the determination that it's going to go through 5 drafts overall.
Oh,
When it's before it's ready for publishing. But I think the second draft is what'll take the longest, and then drafts 3 through 5 is going to be more on cutting down wordiness and fixing down whatever the editor's problems are and things like that.
see,
So,
I'm intrigued by everyone who writes books because for me, my brain doesn't work that way. I like to write short story like episodes. So I'm
mhm,
writing it. I in old school form TV. For those of us who
mhm,
are older than 40, we had commercial breaks and an allotted time that episodes had to be, so they could be an hour long, and that was it.
mhm,
So I'm using that practice in my own writing to where each episode can only be 10,000 words. That's
mhm.
it.
That makes sense.
Each story is 10,000 words, and it's written kind of in a uh, sitcomish way to where there's a teaser, and act one, an act two, and a tag. So it's still 4 chapters, 4 acts, whatever, but that's how I'm writing all of my short stories. And so all you guys who are like, I'm on like 80,000 words for my one story, I'm like, how do you do that? You guys are bonkers. Like, I don't know what you guys are like. I don't know how you guys keep track of all that. That's a lot. And I know that I get to that by episode like 8. I'll have 80,000 words or whatever because it's 10,000 words times 8, whatever. But it's still just like, you guys need to be uber, like organized.
Scarecrow's current word count is at 161,000.
You're going to need to cut some of that out, dude.
Trust me, I'm well aware of this. To get it readable, I'm going to probably have to get to closer to 130 to cater to a mainstream audience.
Did you think about what we talked about? I think like 6 months ago, the last time I was here, when you were like, I should have an unabridged version, though.
Yes, I actually remember that.
Like a 250 word version of Scarecrow versus 160 or whatever. I don't know, what 130, and just like see like what the one version versus another version.
Not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. We'll see once I finish the book, and we'll see what the abridged version of Scarecrow looks like. Maybe I'll just create my own spoof of my own book, and then use that as a way to draw awareness.
There are no rules.
That's true.
There are no rules. So unabridged, abridged, both versions. If someone wants to save a little bit of time, super cool. If you want to get more into what my mind is, here's the whole thing.
Awesome. Well, it's definitely been a really, really good. It's definitely been a really good stream today. We've definitely gone through quite a lot in terms of different writing conversations. We clearly got our share of writing in today. So as we reach this part of the stream, thank you all for joining us today. It's been an absolutely great writers group. Remember, we meet same time, same place every Wednesday, 4 Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern for our Right Now Writers group. I'll be back tomorrow for another daily writing stream, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. We'll get in some writing tomorrow, and I will see just what I'm able to do with Scarecrow. Thank you all for joining me today. Thank you all for joining us. It's been an absolute incredible time, as always. Love hanging out with other writers. Soul, Chris, thank you so much for joining us today. I really, really appreciate you. Chris, glad to have you back. Hopefully you will come join us on some more writers groups in the future. Got a little inspiration here?
Yep, hopefully more often than not now that I'm getting back into a swing of things. Thank you for keeping me on the emails because I haven't been back in 6 months.
All right, my friends. Well, it's been awesome. But that brings us to the end of the stream. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll.
Can I do one little plug on your Discord? There's a Tarot for Writers folder, chat, however Discord, whatever wording is for Discord. I've been putting in some of my YouTube channel Tarot for Writers Blocks videos. So if anybody wants to go to that little place on his Discord, on the Right Now Discord, I've been putting some of those videos up. And if you want to
there's definitely some really, really good helpful videos on there. For anyone who's not part of the Right Now Discord, it's linked down in the YouTube description down below. Our Discord's pretty active. We have, whether you're looking to just chat with other writers daily, do you want to do writing games, get feedback on your writing, or checking out for different resources that writers will post in the community. Under the tarot, there's a tarot channel and an alternative writing channel that I highly recommend everyone check out. So definitely go click on that link. Join us down in the Discord. Absolutely, Chris. Really, really appreciate that you're posting there and providing other resources for our writers.
And now I plugged for you. 2 birds, 1 stone. Let's do this.
And hey, I do want to add, because in case anybody isn't aware, if for anyone who likes the Wednesday streams, I do something like this on Saturday nights where just come into the Discord, come to the Write Chat, and just join me when I'm writing. I basically do what Kaufman does like throughout the week. It's just I don't do it live on YouTube because I do not have that kind of a camera face.
It's absolutely great. It's like a co-working session. So it's like for anybody who like wants to like hop on camera, you could have the camera off. You could just be audio. it's really more just like hanging out with other writers and writing. It's much more casual, and
yeah.
it's a really, really great way in the Discord if you just be like, hey, it's Saturday, I'm not doing anything right now, why don't I try to get some writing inspiration?
I'm usually up for like 2 hours doing it.
Mhm.
So it starts at 6 p.m. Eastern time. I know for Kaufman, like some of his streams on Saturdays and like 6:30,
Mhm.
well Eastern. I start about half an hour usually before that.
Mhm.
I usually have maybe one person a week. Sometimes I have two. A couple weeks ago we had like 6 or 7.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's just come for a couple hours, come chat, come get help, come watch me work on whatever I'm working on because I share my screen and I have music just like Kaufman does, so it's just very casual version of this, just less live.
If they overlap, you just gotta pick your favorite.
Pretty much.
If they overlap, just pick your favorite.
Hey, no, go to Kaufman and then come to me.
Exactly right. And I think the moral of the story is anytime we can find other resources to help us do the thing that we're all trying to do, which is just write our books, write our stories. And I think that is always a win. And especially with the Discord, I really wanted to create a resource for the community for writers where it's much more casual and you can get the help that you need. Awesome.
Cool.
My friends, thank you all for joining us today. We'll catch you on the next stream, and that's all that I got for you. All
See you
right, take care,
later.
friends. Stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on tomorrow. Stay creative, writers. It's time to write
Right
now.
Sorry.
Right now, not right now, but right now. Read now, right now.